Okay. So you awake to see Gale peering over you. Wake up. Today's the day. We're going to go home. Home. You know, where the fish are tasty and there's always an updraft.
Gale, keep your mouth down. You want us to get caught before we can even leave?
Knocking on the door, you get up and you see it's Instructor Gleen. He's got a bandage over his shoulder from what looks like a nasty wound. And he kind of knocks on the door and he says, "Get up, younglings. It's time for prayers. Everyone up and at 'em." Groose from across the room in his bunk says, "I've been awake for hours. I'm ready to pray all day." You all.
I'm sure you are, Groose.
Uh,
You've got a little bit of white shit on your beak.
Well, you're a stillborn egg. They should have left you in the nest. And he kind of like storms out of the room like, I'm going to pray harder than he is. And he makes his way out of the room. Instructor Gleen leaves. He leaves chuckling, kind of like clutching his shoulder a little bit. Gale kind of pulls you to the side and is like, "Quick, let's sneak in to the temple and do the ritual. I've got the amulet." She passes you a jade amulet. You kind of peer at it for a second. It's it's kind of glowing, and there's some kind of light inside of it that's like kind of undulating. You want to make your way to the temple?
Well, I wanted to talk to Gale for a second real quick. Gale, how did you get this?
While the elders were out hunting the sky vermin, there was no one there.
And you just strolled on in, huh?
I only had to walk in and grab it.
You son of a bitch, Gale. You did it again.
Now let's go, quick, before they notice we're missing for prayer.
Sure, let's go.
So the two of you kind of like sneak your way through the hallway. So make me a sneak check.
Okay. Ooh, 23.
23. Holy crap. All right. So as you're sneaking by the kitchen, the head chef, her name's Bruni. She's like a large bird woman. She's big. She peers out of the kitchen down the hallway directly at you. And goes, must have been the wind. And goes back into the kitchen. So you make your way into the temple. The temple is surprisingly empty. There's like nothing in here, which is weird. You've never been in here before. You're not allowed to be in here. In the center of the temple, there's kind of like an inlay in the stonework, and the ceiling is letting like light shine into this center circle of the temple. And in that, there's a pedestal where you see that you can kind of place the amulet. It's almost the exact shape of the amulet. Gale kind of grabs you by the hand and says, "There, I think that's what we have to do. I'm pretty sure." And she kind of like pulls you up to the altar and says like, put it in."
Don't get so excited, Gale.
We're going to go home. Don't you see? We're going to go home where there's always a warm current and an updraft. We can fly forever. The sky.
Finally. Yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay. So you push the amulet into the altar and you hear like a small click kind of behind the altar. And the altar sort of drops down and there's this like, the generic like stone on stone as it kind of like
Temple of Doom lifting the skull.
Exactly. It like recedes into the floor and it kind of disappears with the amulet. The light in the chamber, it's gone. Like the sunlight coming in, you can't. You hold your hand up in front of you. You can't even see it. You hear Gale on your right say, I think we're supposed to pray. I just get in a prayer position. So you get like crisscross applesauce kind of, and like enter a prayer position from where you're pretty sure the amulet was. This like dim purple light starts to come up, and behind that there's more purple light, and then you sort of make out like this sort of blobby form in the center of this circle, and it's like making some kind of noise. Roll me a perception check.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. 6.
Okay, so luckily, you're in a giant empty room, and everything is echoing. So you hear from this like blobby figure, you hear, and then from its mouth, in almost a whisper, you hear, "Finally, I'm so hungry. I'm so weak." You can hear Gale to your right. She says, This doesn't seem right." You can see her now, actually. But something is wrong. From her eyes, there are tiny blue. They almost look like threads. And from her nose, from her mouth, almost like from her forehead here, her jaw. You notice like her shoulder, her fingers. There's these threads coming out, and they all lead back to this figure. And Gale, as you're looking at her, she looks older. She looks sick almost.
Okay, so I'm gonna yell like, Gale, we've got to get out of here. This is not right.
So Gale sees you now, and she hears you, and she's like, I feel weak. And she like, you see her kind of do this, and she goes, I can't move. I can't move. And her eyes start to kind of like sink in a little bit. The flesh around her face, it gets a little bit tighter. Make me a Constitution saving roll.
Oh, okay. Oh, natural 1.
Okay, so you attempt to struggle. You lift your hand, and it kind of like gets smashed back down into the stone. You look up, the figure in front of you, this kind of blob thing. You see now it's like a bag of bones. It's this like decrepit, absolutely decrepit looking creature. It's got pustules on its face. It's got more wrinkle lines than it could ever have, and its eyes are sunken back to the point that they're just tiny orange like glints in it. And it smiles at you with its like 3 teeth and kind of black decaying gums. And it looks at you and it says, "The young, oh, you have so much fight in you." Make me a Constitution saving roll.
It's gonna be a nat 1 again. Here we go.
And you know, looking down at your arm, the threads are coming out of you too, and you're kind
17.
of feeling your strength. Okay. You look this creature in the eyes, and the unbridled fear that you feel for this creature has given you the strength. You break free, and you manage to kind of like, oh my god, you scamper back on the paved stones. Gale, you see now that the temple is lit. There's light in here. Like the darkness is, you're confused. But Gale is still sitting there, and she's like slumping over where she's sitting. And from the back of the temple, you hear like someone is like knocking in on the temple, and the little like shitty candelabra that you kind of put in the lock, it's bending.
Yeah. Is the so you said it's bright in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's daylight basically.
Yeah, it's just like you found it before.
Is this guy like? Is he on top of the amulet? Is there any way I can like try to get to the amulet again, to kind of like remove it?
Yeah, so he's like sitting on top of it basically.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to do like a mad dash to the door to open it.
Okay.
Because this is not gonna go well on my own.
Okay. So
and it'll be mad, but like it's better than me dying.
Okay. So roll me an athletics check.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. 19.
Nice. Okay. So you stand up, and as you do, you kind of feel like the tendrils, the blue tendrils coming out of your body, they sort of pull you down. And as you stand, your legs, they shake, but you power through and you kind of like break them off and make a break for the door. You slide the candelabra out, and standing there at the door is Instructor Gleen and 3 other elders. And Gleen looks at you in horror. What have you done? And then he looks past you and he sees Gale, and he pushes you aside and runs and sprints over to her and kind of grabs her and holds her in his arms. And she is not moving at all. And Gleen is like, call for help, quick, we need the infirmary, quick. She looks like a skeleton. The flesh on her bones is gone. Her eyes, it almost looks like she never even had eyes. They are like, it really doesn't look good. Her beak has kind of grayed. Her talons are thin, and her claws are like brittle, and sort of as Gleen picks her up, feathers fall from her body. He holds his head up to her chest, and she still lives. She still lives. We can save her. So then another priest goes and gets the infirmary. He walks over to you and he says, "You have no idea what you've done."
Yeah, I'm gonna start like sobbing and say like, "I'm so sorry. We didn't mean this. I'm sorry. Oh my God, Gale."
Your tears won't bring her back, Gale.
And ask like, what was that? What is happening?
I cannot blame you for being curious and for wanting to go home, but the creature you summoned, this was Nagash. This was not our god. Whatever ritual you attempted, you've done this entirely wrong. This is blasphemy. My young Gleen, what you've seen, this cannot be undone. And then he kind of walks over to the center of the temple where that amulet is. The altar is back. The figure is gone. There's no sign of him ever even being there. And Gleen grabs the amulet and kind of like, with Gale in one arm and the amulet in the other, he kind of looks at it and he says, "Where did you get this?"
I don't know. Gale had it. It was all her idea. Like, she just said she stole it while you were missing from the room, the ritual room, this room. We just wanted to leave. We just wanted to go home.
This is heretical. This comes from the body of Nagash. We carry no jade in this temple. This stone is cursed.
But we have a pillar that perfectly fits it like a key.
Initiate, you test me. You test your God. Do you not wish to go home? Do you not wish to feel the warm winds under your feathers? You've taken that from Gale. In your brazen actions, you've robbed her of her dream. As he finishes his sentence, the infirmary kind of priestess comes in and she takes Gale, and as soon as Gale gets in her arms, she's kind of like, oh, Gale is light. She's expecting to carry like a fully grown eagle person, but Gale weighs like nothing. And when she gets into her arms, more feathers fall. She's kind of like leaving a trail of them as the nurse exit. Gleen kind of like watches the whole thing go down, and he approaches you and he says, I can see that you have no place here. I can see it was a mistake to have saved you. I can see that the other instructors, they were right about you. I can see now that in my folly and in my kindness, I let in a servant of Nagash.
Oh.
Gleen, I'm sorry, but you must leave, or I will have to kill you.
What's his name again?
Gleen.
Oh, that's like my name.
It's almost like your name.
Okay. I just kind of, start begging him, being like, Master Gleen,
No!
How could you abandon me, please?
Leave this temple and never come back. You've taken enough. And he kind of steps back from you, kicks you as you like grovel at his feet, and he throws the amulet in your face. And take your cursed amulet with it. Don't you see you've done enough damage? Go out, find your new god. See how he treats you. You're not welcome here anymore.
Fine, I didn't like it here anyways. You're not my real dad.
As you exit, the other pupils, initiates, pretty much everyone in the temple is outside, and Groose is right there looking at you, and
I don't imagine his face.
You can see in his eyes there is an anger, and he says nothing, but the look on his face and the expression, that the fire in his eyes says it all. You can tell he is infuriated. The other pupils, they stare you down as you walk out the hallway. The green amulet in your hand, you kind of like hang your head and walk out, and you catch a glimpse of the green amulet. It's practically glowing. It's like this thing, you could use it as a flashlight. You get to the temple like kind of gates. You're at like the top of the mountain, looking down on the forest, and beyond that the jungle, beyond that the ocean. And the guard at the temple gate says, never come back here. I will kill you myself if you come back here.
Okay. I guess I'd just kind of just start flying away.
So you
fly as high as I can.
So you take you walk to kind of the perch of your mountain like home next to a cliff. You jump off and you grab like a cool stream in the air. And in the forest, you kind of spot a shelter, and you make your way for the shelter. And that's where we end.
Oh wow, that was very quick.
Yeah, that was a quick one.
Cool.
Yeah.